Do you know why almost all motorcycles have their exhaust pipes on the right side? It's not a coincidence. The answer will definitely surprise you. Today, we're going to solve a question that everyone has thought about, but very few people can actually answer head-on. Why do most motorcycles have their exhaust pipes on the right side? Welcome to the world of two wheels. At first glance, putting the exhaust on the right side seems like a simple design detail, but behind it lies decades of research, testing, and massive investment. In the motorcycle world, it feels like there's an unwritten rule, and yet that rule was created with careful thought. Let's go back to the early days of motorcycles. Back then, motorcycles were basically bicycles with engines bolted on. What they needed was simplicity and practicality. Just like other parts, the exhaust pipe was placed where it was the least in the way. And in a society where 90% of people are right-handed, most riders naturally mounted and dismounted from the left side. Add to that the fact that almost every motorcycle kickstand is on the left, which makes bikes lean to the left. Getting on and off from the left side is not only more comfortable and stable, but also prevents the bike from tipping toward you. Historically, even cavalry soldiers mounted and dismounted from the left side of a horse. Over time, the left side became the human-friendly side of motorcycles. Riders would mount from the left, then reach for the clutch or shift lever. But here's where an important detail comes in: the side stand. When you park, the side stand that supports the motorcycle is almost always on the left. If you've ever ridden a bike with the exhaust pipe on the left, right next to the side stand, you'll know the problem. You're very likely to burn your leg. That's why placing the exhaust on the right side avoids this issue. Within minutes, a motorcycle exhaust can hit 200 degrees C, and under hard acceleration, even up to 600 degrees C. From an engineering perspective, on most single-cylinder or parallel twin motorcycles, the natural flow of exhaust gases exits more directly on the right. Designers prefer the shortest, smoothest exhaust path possible. Fewer bends mean less performance loss. So if the engine and chassis allow a direct right side exit, why not do it? Today, right side exhausts are not only functional, but also traditional. For decades, giants like Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki have all placed exhausts on the right. With millions of right-side exhaust motorcycles rolling out, a habit, a tradition, and even a visual standard has been created. It's not written into law, but it's etched into the subconscious of designers. If we trace further back in history, remember, all soldiers mounted horses from the left. Motorcycles inherited that practice. It's no accident. The very first motorcycles were marketed to horse riders. Some old British brands, like Royal Enfield, copied horse riding postures almost directly. But it's not just about habit and logic. There's also weight balance. On modern motorcycles, especially sport bikes and high-performance machines, weight distribution is carefully calculated down to each centimeter in gram. If you place the whole exhaust system on one side, you need counterweights or components like the chain, sprockets, air filter, or gearbox on the other side to balance it out. Decades of development with right-side exhausts have perfected this balance. Changing it would mean redesigning half the motorcycle from scratch. So, why do some bikes have exhausts on the left? Yes, while most exhausts are on the right, there are exceptions. Some BMW Boxers, certain Triumphs, older Ducatis, and vintage scooters like the Vespa V48. In these cases, the engine layout dictated it. Sometimes the exhaust gases exit more directly from the left, or space on the right is needed for more critical parts like scooter transmissions. This isn't wrong, it's just the right choice for that specific design. For example, on BMW Boxer engines, with one cylinder on each side, each has its own exhaust pipe. If they merge into one, the pipe will usually exit on whichever side offers the clearest path, sometimes the right, sometimes the left. Here's another detail: passenger safety. Where do passengers get on? From the left, just like the rider. That means if the exhaust were on the left, the chances of passengers burning their legs would be much higher. Putting it on the right keeps it out of the way. Of course, we've also seen underseat exhausts, or dual pipes on both sides. That's not just for looks, it's about achieving a balanced center of gravity. Early motorcycles often had dual pipes for symmetry, but weight concerns have made them less common. A full exhaust system can weigh 4-8 kilograms, and double that with twin exhausts. Underseat exhausts became popular in the early 2000s. Yamaha and Ducati made them famous, but eventually, heat issues made the design fall out of favor. That said, high-mounted exhausts are still very useful in dirt bikes and ADV bikes, since they prevent water and mud from entering. Now, let's look at another overlooked factor: regulations. In many countries, motorcycles must pass noise, emission, and safety tests. These standards were built around right-side exhausts. If a manufacturer wants to change to the left, they often have to pay for entirely new certifications, a costly process most brands avoid. But right-side exhausts aren't perfect. One drawback: if you park on a slope, the exhaust could end up on the higher side. With the engine off, rising heat can scorch nearby objects, even something like a loaf of bread. And here's one of the most fascinating parts: in motorcycle factories, assembly lines have been optimized for decades to install right-side exhausts. Workers building Kawasaki Ninjas, Honda CBRs, or Yamaha R-Series are trained for this exact process. Machines too. Changing sides would cost millions. Not worth it. Finally, there's psychology. Human eyes are used to seeing right-side exhausts. A left-side pipe just looks odd. Not bad, just unusual. And in industrial design, unusual often gets associated with less reliable. So manufacturers prefer to follow convention. In short, right-side exhausts are the result of logic, habit, safety, efficiency, and history. Could you put them on the left? Sure, but most of the time, it's just not worth it. It's like asking, why do most cars in the world have the steering wheel on the left? The answer is simple: because that's how it started, and the entire system adapted around it. The same goes for motorcycles. So, have you ever owned a motorcycle with a left side exhaust? Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.